So I spent 5 years developing a learning system which helped me to go from almost failing to doing extremely well in med school while studying about 80% less time than other students. In this video, I'm going to give you what that study system is so you can also learn effectively in less time. By using this system, you'll be able to learn faster, understand deeply, and be confident in exams. So this learning system has 4 steps. The first step is priming. Priming is actually priming your brain to receive the new information you are going to learn. This is the first part of the system. If you don't get this right, the whole system will not work. Priming will help you to reduce the overall complexity of the material, and also it will help you to learn faster. If you're someone who doesn't do priming, by doing it, you will be able to see about 50% increase in your learning speed. So if you are not doing priming, you should do it. Priming will give you a big picture understanding about the topic. So how do we do priming? You can do priming in 2 steps. Step 1 is identify keywords. So what you have to do is first scope through the material you are going to learn. Do like a brief scan. Then identify the keywords in your study material. These keywords are the main headings, subheadings, highlighted and the bolded words. Scope through your resource fast and identify these keywords. That's the first step. The next step is connecting those keywords into a structure, which is creating a mind map. Now, think about what those keywords really mean. If you don't know the meaning of any keyword, do a 10-second Google search. You will be able to find what the word means. You don't need a lot of details. You just need the basic meaning of the word. Next, think about how you can connect those keywords to each other, how you can group them, what are the connections between them, and think about how you can connect them to draw a mind map, which is the second step. Think about those stuff and draw a mind map. It doesn't have to be 100% correct. You just need a brief outline. This is the step 2 of priming. Next, we are going to the main learning event, which is the first time you are going to learn about the topic. So the step 2 is encoding. What we do in encoding is actually learning about the topic, which is transferring information in your resources to your short-term memory and your long-term memory. If you properly encode the information, it will reduce the need for repetition, so you don't have to go through same thing over and over again. Proper encoding will improve both your short-term and your long-term memory. There are a lot of methods you can use to properly encode information, such as grouping, chunking, using analogies, and simplifying information. I'm not going to talk about all of those in this video. I'm going to give you the basic method on how to do it. So how I do encoding is by multiple passes. In the first pass, with the help of the mind map you drew in the priming step, I go through the material and learn about the main key concepts. I don't go into details, I just try to understand the topic. That's the first pass. In the second pass, I read a bit deeper. I go for those important details, like if I'm studying about a drug, the key side effects, and other key information about the drug. In the third pass, I finally go through those tiny little details that I have to know. While doing this, I modify my mind map. I add keywords, change connections, add new connections, or sometimes completely erase the mind map and draw it again in a different way. That's why I said in the priming step, your mind map doesn't have to be completely correct. So if you're someone who's learning by reading top to bottom, try this method. Learn in passes. It will help you to understand and encode your information deeply and learn a lot quicker. So in the third pass, I only go through those tiny little details last. Because most of the time, you don't even need to know about those tiny details. They are not questioned from you. You need to understand the main concepts about the topic. But if you have to know those tiny little details, that's where step 3 comes into place, which is offloading. Offloading means actually offloading those tiny details from your brain. So you have enough cognitive load to learn the key concepts. So if you have to know those tiny details like side effects of the drug, microscopic features in pathology, or any kind of stuff like that, you can use an offloading method. What I use is flashcards. So I make flashcards on Anki about those tiny details and go through those flashcards. So I don't have to worry about those stuff again. By offloading those tiny details, you'll be able to learn the topic a lot quicker. This step concludes the main learning event, which is the first time you're learning the topic. But no matter how good you encode the information, eventually you're going to forget. By encoding well using the method I told you, you will need less repetitions. So the fourth step is what I call interleaved retrieval. This combines two things, spaced repetition and interleaving, which are, according to the research, two of the most effective study methods. Spaced repetition means revisiting the material you learn in spaced intervals, and interleaving is going through the material in different aspects. So I combine those two and use as the fourth step, which is interleaved retrieval. So you have to go through the material again at least after 1 week and 1 month. This will help you to solidify what you learned. So what I do is, I don't just go through the material and read about that again. Instead of that, I use interleaving. There are many interleaving methods you can use, but what I do is, I use past questions about the topic. So 1 week after learning the topic, I do some multiple choice questions. And after 1 month, I do some essay type questions. This is very effective because this will help you to actively recall the information you have learned, and also it will help you to fill those knowledge gaps. By using two different ways, like doing MCQs and essay type questions, I approach the content in different ways, so it will help you to think differently about the topic, which fill those knowledge gaps. By doing this, you will be able to answer those curveball questions in your exams. This is what interleaved retrieval is. By just doing this, I was able to go from 50s to 70s in my exams. So this alone is a powerful method. That's my 4-step learning system: priming, encoding, offloading, and interleaved retrieval. If you want to know about a highly effective encoding method which will help you to learn a lot of information in less time, watch this video next. It will help you to double your learning speed.